Okay, I'm finally doing it. 3 months ago, I made a video about the Cutie Mark Crusaders where I analyzed them as a group, but it was running too long and I promised to finish it up with a second video about their individual characters. Considering that we usually see them as a group, each of them is a surprisingly complete character by herself. They each have episodes focusing on them as individuals and personalities that run a lot deeper than one or two quirky traits that let them stand out in group dialogue, unlike a certain other group of student-age characters that I won't mention. So let's start with Apple Bloom, who is introduced first and act as the CMC's de facto leader. No, actually, I mean mastermind. More than the other two, if this is even possible, she is hellbent on getting her cutie mark and will come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes to get there. Perhaps even more telling, she will do extremely crazy things that have nothing to do with getting a cutie mark. This is just part of who she is, and you can blame a part of it on age, but she takes it to a scale that is way beyond what you'd normally expect from a grade school filly. She is probably the show's most important character after the main six and maybe Spike, and they decided to make her an absolute mad pony. I love that! As for why she takes these sorts of risks, I think most of it roots back to a need to prove herself and be accepted and included. She's desperate for blank flank friends when she thinks she's the last blank flank in her class. She's desperate for some pony to hang out with when her friends decide they want to do one single day of solo activities. She's desperate to convince Applejack that she doesn't need to be babied and proceeds to make extremely unsafe decisions to prove her maturity. She wants to be respected, and she's an extrovert who needs some sense of belonging. Another thing I like about Apple Bloom that doesn't influence her character in a substantial way, but still comes up consistently enough to be worth mentioning, is her fashion sensibilities. It's a fun little contrast to the rest of her family, and honestly, might make some over-interpretation to tie it back to her need to fit in and be respected. Most importantly, it's the reason for her giant hair bow that gives her an iconic silhouette and emotes with her in extremely fun ways. I also think she has one of the best singing voices in the entire show, so there's that. And I enjoy how they added potion brewing to her skill set, as if she needs any more ways to cause chaos. Next, let's talk about Scootaloo. Scootaloo is a trooper. She's easily scared and doesn't have a close adult figure to help ease her fears. She can't fly, and that's actually a big deal for her because she's all into tricks and speed and stuff. It would matter less if she had a personality like Fluttershy or some pony. I'm really glad that the show committed to the bit and never let her fly. It was a brutally honest depiction of disability, complete with bullying and finding a way to become her own pony when she knew she could never become her idol. And of course, she has no real family that's present in her life. They kind of bailed out and added a family at the last minute, but honestly, neglectful parents work just as well as no parents in this overall trend of her being a poor little filly who has everything going against her. Despite it all, Scootaloo never lets life beat her down. Every time she falls, she gets back up. She believes in herself and finds her personal worth despite it all in Flight to the Finish and the washouts. She's turned her tiny wings into a strength by using them to propel her scooter. The Rainbow Dash isn't a pony who hoofs out idle compliments. She can be brutally honest at times, so the respect she shows to Scootaloo speaks volumes to just how awesome she is. And of course, just like Apple Bloom, she is very capable of coming up with crazy plans and making bad decisions. Another couple of things I like about her character are her apparent mechanic skills, and the fact that she's such a terrible singer. It's actually really funny to me. Lastly, we have my personal favorite, Sweetie Belle. Sweetie Belle functions as the straight mare of the group, which is a little hilarious to me because she is also capable of forming evil plots. I love how chaotic the CMCs are, that the bar is set so low that Sweetie Belle is the voice of reason. She often is the voice of reason, to be fair, but she does have her specific things that she gets involved in. She's quite the romantic like her sister, and there's one other thing that kind of goes under the radar if you're not looking for it, but it's certainly there if you're paying attention. Sweetie Belle has anger issues. It's really funny because she's usually the gentlest of the CMCs, but when you cross her lines, she will mess you up. Of course, lots of characters in the show get mad for various reasons because it is a show about relationships and making mistakes, but she takes it to extreme levels on more than one occasion. It's such a fun little detail to this character. One other thing I enjoy is the way she's grown up to be a sophisticated little filly like her sister, but without the vanity and aversion to lowlier, dirtier things. She's out of the loop on pop music because she prefers show tunes and she's into black box experimental theater, but she's still down to rough it outdoors or get involved in any of the CMC's crazy schemes. Another thing I enjoy is her voice. The squeaks in earlier seasons are S-tier adorable, and as the show goes on, I think her voice changes more than the others. She really starts to sound like a young teenager at some point, and I appreciate the contrast. Plus, I really like her design. Her colors scream G3, obviously, in the best way possible. So there you go. That's my synopsis for the CMC's individual personalities. They're all well-rounded characters, and they complement each other well. The show really made an effort to enable the audience to connect to these child characters and make them relatable and complex in a way that child characters too often just aren't. And they're really well fleshed out considering that they usually come in a package of 3, unlike the main 6 that get solo episodes pretty often. CMCs are, frankly, some of the show's best characters. I can't say enough good things about them. Please comment and tell me which one's your favorite and gush about why you like them. Bring the love and appreciation. Peace out.